What did you find out about your husband only after you got married? Before we got married I loved how sarcastic she was. After we got married I realized she was not sarcastic at all. Just mean. We are still happily married, though. That is kind of funny. I have worked with people like that and still cannot figure out why we got along. Maybe because they were mean but fair. I do not know. He hates grocery shopping. Like would rather clean the toilet than pick up more than 2 things at the grocery store. It kind of works though, because I hate cleaning the bathroom. I understand his side of this. People at grocery stores move incredibly slow. Next to getting off a full plane, it is the slowest I have ever seen people move. Duck, it is infuriating if self-checkout is not working. That is why I like to go grocery shopping after 10 PM. It is empty and the lines move fast because anybody there is usually only buying a few select items. 2 months after our wedding, just after we mailed all the thank you cards to our guests, she calmly suggested an idea about our honeymoon, which was another 2 months away. Let us go as friends. What she really meant was let us get divorced. She genuinely believes her life is meant to be a tragedy, a belief that I could not help her shake off. We did manage to go on the honeymoon as a couple, but we filed for divorce within half a year. I hope she is okay. I'm having a blasty blast. My wife can speak French. We are on vacation last February in Papeete, Tahiti, French Polynesia. My wife starts talking French to everyone talking French. We have been married 25 years. That 3/4 of the time he spends in the bathroom is spent on iPad time. 4 years I thought he was struggling with digestive issues. Nope. Just the Simpsons game. My wife used to think I would go hide in the bathroom to get away from her and read a book, browse the internet on my phone. She would say, no man should have to poop for that long and that often. If you need to poop that much then you need to see a doctor. Well, I finally took her advice after growing tired of her complaining, and a few weeks later is when we found out I have Crohn's disease. I can now poop as often and as long as I want without judgment. He thought the word subtle meant the opposite of what it means. All through dating and the first few years of marriage, 7 years, I just thought he was using it sarcastically. Also, he gets horizontal and vertical confused. As in, he falls down on the bed after a long day and says, it is so nice to finally be vertical. He has a nice butt, though, so it evens out. That he has a third middle name. He gets a pass though, because he did not know either. And his amazing pinnacle of love and devotion, his mother, also forgot, and when shown the birth certificate showing a third middle name, wondered aloud, now why did I do that? I literally only discovered this the moment we were married, that he has a very romantic side. All the time we were together before, I probably would have said I would have liked a little more traditional romance. But I appreciated how straightforward and pragmatic he was about other things and thought I cannot have it both ways. I could add that he is a theoretical physicist who works with engineers, and he has the personality to match. He always said he thought marriage was essentially meaningless. Eventually, for external reasons, we decided to do it. I proposed to him, by the way, with a new watch. We threw together a cheap little ceremony in a few weeks to get it over with, as we both put it. He put on his suit, I put on my pretty dress. We had the officiant there that I found on Yelp 2 weeks before and got started. However, when it came time for the vows and the ring exchange, I suddenly found myself facing a very sentimental man who was clearly deeply in love with me and overjoyed to be marrying me. After that, the same man who took years to feel comfortable holding my hand in public for even 5 minutes was hugging and kissing me in front of everyone at every moment he could during the ceremony. Then he wanted to celebrate every week anniversary, then every month anniversary with romantic dinners and having the same cake we had at our wedding. He starts celebrating at 12:01 AM on our anniversaries. He gazes lovingly at his wedding ring and always wants me to do the Wonder Twins thing with him by clicking our rings together. Who had a thunk it? I once went to a wedding where I knew both of the people. The male was a very pragmatic, hard-working type person, but as soon as the bride appeared, he began to sob loudly She got to the altar, and the minister tried to start the ceremony, but the guy could not stop sobbing. The bride stopped the minister. "Honey, are you alright?" "Yes, yes I am," he said. "I just cannot believe you are actually marrying me. I'm so happy." There was not a dry eye in the house, and most of us cried through the whole thing. Just amazing. We did not really have a photographer, but one of my best friends insisted on coming in with me when I was getting ready and getting all the traditional bridal pics, which included capturing when he first saw me in my whole getup. I thought it was silly at the time, but I'm so glad she did it. He was really beaming. That Rice Krispie treats are his favorite baked good. He had never so much as mentioned them before to me. 2 years married, and suddenly this bombshell. Out of the blue. But seriously, after we got married I realized that he was not as calm as he seemed. He can actually get very anxious like a normal human being, and if he does not do something active for a few days, workout, run, etc., he gets hyper like a 3-year-old on a sugar high manic. Cannot sit still. Loud singing. It is quite something to behold. I just asked my wife this question, and she told me it was the wart thing on the shaft of my penis. I was not aware that I had a wart thing on my penis, so I ran to the bathroom to check, only for her to arrive while I'm tugging away at the skin, to laugh at me being so gullible. After dating for 7 years and well establishing that I like to sleep in when I do not have plans, we got married. Suddenly, I don't know why. Apparently we had a bedtime, and in the morning, it was suddenly time for us to get up. Had to have a stern conversation with my morning person husband about that real quick. If there is stuff we have to do, yeah sure, but if it is a lazy Sunday, leave me alone, and go play video games alone. My wife turned out to be extremely food jealous. If I'm eating something that looks and tastes better than what she is eating, she gets pretty upset if I do not offer her any. My wife insists on tasting my food drink. If we get the same thing, does not matter what it is, she has got to make sure that I did not get the better one. Love that lady. That he supported his buddy's family financially while his buddy spent a year in federal prison. Not England as everyone else was told. My husband kept his buddy's employment open by doing his buddy's job as well as his own job during that year. Edit thought of another one. We were married about 3 years before I found out he had once given his cousin a stack of signed blank checks because she was a single mom and struggling to pay her bills. Not just after getting married, but after being together almost 18 years. One night we go to dinner at a friend's house. They are making pizzas, which we do not often do. My wife offers to help, grabs some dough, and starts spinning it on her fists like a ducking pro, tossing it high in the air with a confident flourish. I had no idea. I knew she did sometime at a Little Caesars as a teenager, but I guess I assumed they just pressed the dough into pans there or some shit. I did not ask, and she never brought it up. Turns out it is a damned attractive skill for a lady to have. Edit confronted her about the they do not hand toss at Little Caesars issue. Apparently, she and her coworkers would get bored enough between rushes to hide in the walk-in and play with the dough, a not insignificant portion of which ended up behind the shelves. Anyhow, this was a frequent enough occurrence that they eventually developed some skills. The curious downtime habits of the pre-cell phone era. My wife can make balloon animals, and I never knew it. One day we're sitting at home with the kids, and after I brought home the wrong type of balloons, out of nowhere she twists up a dog, then a monkey. My grandpa told my grandma he was Italian. They got married while she was pregnant, and she had not met his family yet. When they did go to meet his parents, they were talking in Ojibwa Native American language, and she looked at him and said, "That's not Italian. What are they speaking?" And that's how my grandma found out she was married to an Indian, not an Italian. The shedding. My god. The shedding. I did like to put a long sleeve shirt on without getting one of her hairs stuck between my fingers on the way through the sleeves. Man. I remember what that was like. Edit a word.